Today we are going to start the new lesson, that is electromagnetic induction. Here the term induction means induction is nothing but a production without contact between the two circuits. We are going to produce the electrical current that can be called as the induction. See here, for example, I consider this is the circuit 1. This is the circuit 1. In this circuit, if current I is flowing, we know that in a conductor current is flowing, around this conductor a magnetic field is formed. That magnetic field having the flux phi. Now we take the second circuit. This is the circuit 2. When this circuit taken close to this circuit 1, then here also a current can be formed. Okay. This procedure can be called as induction. Okay. Here there is no contact between these two circuits, but whenever we take the circuit 2 under influence of the circuit 1, then an EMF is induced. Okay. So here what happened? This circuit 2 is linked with the magnetic flux of the circuit 1. Then here a electrical current is flowing. So finally, for induction, a term is important. That term is called magnetic flux. Okay. Here what is the induction? Next we define the means we can take the correct definition, but you have to know here what is the induction. Induction is nothing but when a circuit is placed under influence of the magnetic field of another circuit, then a current is flowing through that circuit. That can be called as, that process can be called as induction. And now here the circuit 2 is placed under influence of the magnetic field of circuit 1, then here current is flowing. Okay, here in the induction process the main term can be taken as magnetic flux. Okay, first we are going to study about the magnetic flux, and after that we are going to observe some experiment. That is Faraday did some experiments on this induction. So from that we are going to write the Faraday's laws. What is the magnetic flux? Here we know that electric flux. What is the electric flux? Electric flux is nothing but the electric field lines passes through the unit area. For example, you can take the area in this surface. These are the electric field lines are flowing. The electric field lines per unit area can be called as the electric flux. In a similar way, here we consider the certain area and magnetic field lines are crossing that area. Here the number of field lines, magnetic field lines passes through unit area can be called as a magnetic flux. Okay, here we are going to take the definition for the magnetic flux. The definition of magnetic flux is nothing but it is the product of average magnetic field times the perpendicular area that it penetrates. That is, it is the flux can be defined as it is the product of magnetic field and the perpendicular area, that can be called as the magnetic flux. Now here we can write that magnetic flux phi b is equal to b bar dot a bar, that is written as b into a cos theta. Here theta is the angle between magnetic field and area of that surface. See here, for example, now it is the magnetic field. In this we are going to take when the magnetic flux is maximum, when it is the minimum. Here this is the magnetic field B bar. In this magnetic field we place a certain surface. Here we place the surface. Its area vector is like this. Here it is the normal. This area vector is always normal. So this is the area vector. So this is the area vector of that field. When we are observing what is the angle between field and area vector, the angle between field and area vector can be taken as 90 degrees. So here the flux can be taken as, in this case the flux is equal to B bar dot A bar, that is B into A cos theta, where theta equal to 90 degrees, that is angle between field and area vector can be taken as 90 degrees. Now the flux is 0. Okay. So in this case, whenever we take the field and area can be taken in this manner, in that case the magnetic flux become 0. And if you take like this is the magnetic field. In this magnetic field we place the surface like this, that is it is the magnetic field, and we place the surface like this, means it is passing surface in this manner. Okay, in that case the field is here, this is B bar, and it is the area vector. So whenever we are observing the field and area vector in the same direction, so angle can be taken as 0 degrees. So from that the magnetic flux can be taken as B into A cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So this is maximum. So from this what we can identify, that is whenever you take, this is the field direction, when we place the surface like this, it is the field direction and it is the surface. In this case the magnetic flux is minimum. Why? Because the field lines, magnetic field and area vector both are 90 degrees. But when the magnetic flux is maximum, that is when you consider the field like this and you place the area, surface area in this manner. So here the field lines are penetrates. Whenever the field lines are penetrates, it has the magnetic flux. Okay, in this case the area vector and the field both are in same direction, so we can take it as the maximum. So okay, in this case the means when area vector and magnetic field are perpendicular to each other, then the magnetic flux is minimum or 0. When the area vector and magnetic field both are in same direction, that is angle between them is 0, then the magnetic flux is maximum. Now see the some properties of magnetic flux. Here magnetic flux is a scalar quantity because B bar dot A bar, the dot product gives always a scalar quantity. So magnetic flux is a scalar quantity. Next its SI unit is taken as a Weber, and its CGS unit. CGS unit can be taken as a Maxwell. Now here important one more question, the relation between Weber and Maxwell. Here 1 Weber is equal to 10 power 8 times of the Maxwell. Okay. So here the flux is a scalar quantity and SI unit of flux is Weber, and CGS unit of, that is the small unit, the CGS unit of the flux is Maxwell. The relation between Weber and Maxwell is 1 Weber is equal to 10 power 8 times of the Maxwell. Here to understand the electromagnetic induction, Faraday has do some experiments. See, we have total 3 experiments will be there. See the first experiment. This experiment is called coil magnet experiment. Okay. See here, in this coil magnet experiment, he took a coil. That coil is connected to the galvanometer, and here it is the bar magnet. Okay. So coil and magnet both can be taken. So this experiment is called coil magnet experiment. This is important 3 mark question. See here. So in this coil magnet experiment, he observed that he doing an experiment like this. Whenever the magnet is brought nearer to the coil, then the galvanometer shows certain deflection. And after he move that, means bring back that or moving away that coil, then moving away this magnet, then the galvanometer shows deflection, but the deflection is in opposite direction. And again he bring back nearer to the coil, again it shows the deflection in one direction. Again it is moving back, it shows the deflection is in opposite direction. Okay. So here the first point is when the magnet is bring nearer to the coil, then the galvanometer shows deflection is in one direction. And second point is the magnet is moving away from the coil. The galvanometer shows the deflection is in opposite direction. And after that he repeats that experiment by increasing the by moving the magnet fastly. When the magnet is moving fastly, then the galvanometer deflection is increases. It shows more deflection. From that he identified that whenever the magnetic field is changing, whenever the magnetic field is changing at the coil, then a current can be formed or a current is induced. So from this he gave a conclusion. The conclusion is due to the relative motion between the coil and magnet, due to the relative motion between the coil and magnet, current is induced in the coil. So again he repeats this experiment by kept magnet as stationary and moving the coil nearer to the magnet and back, means away from the magnet. In that process also he observed the same effect. So finally he given a conclusion. The conclusion that whenever the due to the relative motion between the coil and magnet, a current can be flowing. Once again see that coil magnet experiment. The coil magnet experiment, first point is a magnet is bring nearer to the coil. Galvanometer shows a deflection in one direction. The second point is the magnet is moving away from the coil. The galvanometer shows deflection is in opposite direction. And third point, the magnet is moving fastly. When the magnet is moving fastly, then the current deflection in the galvanometer is increases. So from that what the Faraday observed, he observed that due to the relative motion between the coil and magnet, electric current can be induced here. In the similar way, he done the experiment again, that is kept the magnet as a constant or stationary, and the coil is take nearer to the magnet and again moving away from the magnet. In that case also he observed the same effect. So from this experiment he concluded that relative motion between magnet and coil means anyone can be moving. Either coil is moving or magnet can be moving. Then an EMF is coil is magnet and coil induced electric current in the coil. So by the relative motion between the magnet and coil, it will induces an electric current in this coil. So this is the Faraday's first experiment. This experiment is called coil magnet experiment. Now see the Faraday's experiment 2. This experiment is coil experiment. Previous one is coil magnet experiment and it is coil experiment. Coil experiment is, here we take the permanent magnet in the previous case, but in this experiment we take a electromagnet. Electromagnet means a, now in this coil experiment, here it is electromagnet. Electromagnet means a battery is connected. By connecting the battery, current is flowing and current is flowing through the coil, it can create the magnetic field. Okay. In the previous experiment we take the permanent magnet, but in the experiment we take the electromagnet. In this also we follow the same 3 steps. The 3 steps are, first step is the coil 2 is, that is which is connected to the battery. The coil 2 is moving nearer to the coil 1. Then the galvanometer shows the deflection in one direction. The second step is the coil 2 is moving away from this coil 1. Then galvanometer shows the deflection, but the deflection is in opposite direction. And again the third step is the coil 2 is moving fastly, front and back. In that case the galvanometer current deflection is increases. So here whenever the speed of the movement is increases, the current value is also increases. And he did repeat the experiment Again, by kept the coil 2 is stationary, coil 1 is moving towards the coil 2 and moving away from the coil 1. Again, he also observed the same effect. So from that also he concluded that relative motion between the coils will induce electric current in the coil. So from these two experiments he given two rules. Okay, here these two experiments he explained that when the magnetic field or magnet or a coil with a battery can be taken, in the both cases it is a magnetic field which is having the flux. When this flux is changed with this coil 1, in the both cases which cause a current in this coil. See, observe here, whenever the coil is take nearer to this coil 1, it link with a certain amount of flux. Whenever the coil 2 is moving away, then the flux linking with the coil 1 is reduced. Again it is take nearer, then the flux linking with the coil is increases. So like that the flux is changing. Whenever the flux can be changing, then the current flowing through this circuit is also changing. That is shown by this galvanometer. So finally from these two experiments he concluded that when we take a coil and a magnetic field, both are relatively moving. Means if the magnetic field stationary, coil is moving, or coil is stationary, magnetic field is moving. In the both cases, a electric current is induced in the coil. This is called electromagnetic induction. From these two experiments he gave two laws. Those laws can be called as Faraday's laws. Now from those two experiments, Faraday's given two laws. See the first law. What we observe, whenever the coil or magnet bring nearer to the second coil and after moving away, so what we observe, the galvanometer shows the deflection. When galvanometer shows deflection means here a current will be flowing, electric current can be induced. That electric current induced is due to the electromotive force in that coil. The electromotive force is nothing but it is known as voltage. It is represented as a EMF. Okay. Now the first law of the Faraday's first law is an EMF is induced in the circuit whenever amount of magnetic linked with the an EMF is induced in the circuit whenever amount of magnetic flux linked with the circuit changes. Means when the magnet is taken nearer to the coil, it linked more flux. When magnet moving away from the coil, it linked less flux. So due to this flux changes, an EMF is induced. Due to that EMF, electric current will be flowing. So what Faraday said in his first law, that is an EMF is induced in the circuit whenever amount of magnetic flux linked with the circuit is changes. This is the Faraday's first law. So Faraday's first law said whenever flux linking with the circuit is coil is changing, then EMF is induced. Now the Faraday's second law is given the magnitude of that EMF. The Faraday's second law is magnitude of induced EMF in a circuit is equal to the time rate of change of the magnetic flux through that circuit. So meaning of that one is the induced EMF E is directly proportional to rate of change of the magnetic flux. Here we are going to take that induced EMF is equal to proportional constant into d phi by dt. But here always the proportional constant can be taken as, this is written as E is equal to d phi by dt. So this is for single turn coil. When you take single turn coil, so the induced EMF E is equal to d phi by dt. If the coil is having n number of turns, we take the induced EMF is n into d phi by dt. This is for n turn coil. The coil is having n number of turns. The induced EMF in the coil is n into d phi by dt, where if the coil is having only single turn, the EMF is d phi by dt. But we are going to take negative sign. This negative sign will indicate direction of the induced EMF. Here the negative sign is given by Lenz's law. L-E-N-Z. Lenz's law is explained why we are going to take the negative sign. In the next session we are going to discuss about that Lenz's law, why we take the negative sign. But here see what is the Faraday's second law. The magnitude of the induced EMF in the circuit equal to the time rate of change of the magnetic flux through that circuit, that is E equal to minus d phi by dt for single turn coil, E equal to minus n into d phi by dt for n number of turns coil. Here negative n sign can be taken. The negative sign is indicates the direction of that induced EMF. So in the next session we are going to discuss about why we are going to take the negative, that is explained by the Lenz's law. So in the next session we are going to discuss about the important 3-mark topic, that is the Lenz's law. Thank you.